Ankita, good evening.
Hi, sir.
Welcome to Indian Tennis Daily, Ankita.
Thank you.
You can hear me, right? I mean, is audio clear?
Yes, yes, I can
Yeah,
hear
I
you.
mean, I can hear you. I can see you very well. So anyway, thank you. Thanks for taking time to join in. I think regarding Indian Tennis Daily, you had a brief interaction with one of the volunteers in the group, right? During your Kazakhstan trip.
Yes, they were. In fact, that was really nice because what they did is I don't really remember who I spoke to, but yeah, they connected me to the ambassador in Kazakhstan, which our Fed Cup tie that took place last year, and we went there, we met them. They also invited us for dinner, and they were our cheering squad for the week. It was a tough week. It was indoors. It was, I think, it was ranging from minus 25 to minus 35 degrees, but yeah, but then it was good to have some supporters outside the country.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah, they do a lot of. They're helping a lot of Indian tennis players.
I
So
think
and
they're doing a great job getting the Indian tennis community together and also giving them their recognition among people in all sports. I think they're doing a fantastic job.
it's nice. Thank you. Happy to hear you say it. I mean, and of course, I have to congratulate you and the Fed Cup team for having done a phenomenal job of qualifying for the playoff. Never happened before. So I mean, wish it had happened during your playing days. Nevertheless, you're the coach and very much part of the team.
It's been wonderful. I think we went very close in 2016. Um, there was we were in Korea, and we in the finals in the playoffs we were playing Australia. I think there was Casey Delacour, there was Stam Sousa, and I think we were 1-1. And Sania and Shikha lost in the deciding doubles. There was Sania, Shikha, me, and Isha in the team. So it was a good team at that time. I think one of the best performances we had had before this so far. But talking about this Fed Cup, it was, I think it was everybody's dream, and the best part was that everybody believed that it was possible. You know, this was something that everybody was talking about from the beginning. Like we had this at the, it was a very believable thought, and everybody thought that yes, it can happen. This is our time. We have a very strong team. Ankita is doing well. Then I mean, she's always put her best foot forward in all these ties where India is concerned. I have seen her play really well um, in the tie in Delhi, then in Kazakhstan last year, Asian Games. So this Fed Cup was no different. She had very tough opponents, but she gave it her best, whether it was singles or doubles. Then there was Rituja who won us a couple of important matches, and obviously Sanya had come back into the team, and she brings with her a lot of energy, a lot of you know she basically motivates everybody and gives everybody the confidence that yes, it's a doable job. And I think even though we lost our first tie, we knew that it was going to be very very close, and if we could all get our act together, it was a believable task, and I think the end result was phenomenal.
I mean, I was talking to Ankita and Sanya, and both of them are very happy to have you as the coach. So I guess that makes a difference. I think maybe you bring in a different atmosphere, which brings the team together and motivates them, and makes everyone believe. And I hope the team continues to go. I mean, we still have the next round coming in soon after the
We
COVID.
were very
So
excited to play Latvia in April, but unfortunately, this is tough conditions and tough times that the entire world and everyone's going through. I hope it passes soon. But yeah, I think everybody's looking forward to that playoff tie. It's going to be very tough, but I think everybody's going to be really super excited to play against them.
and all the very best to you and every member of the team. And moving on, I mean, okay, this is the high end stuff. You're playing for the country. You're the coach of the Fed Cup team. You have people like Sanya, Ankita, Carmen Kaur in the team. But on a regular basis, you are actually doing a lot of work on the grassroots, right? I mean, you promote tennis in schools, clubs, colleges, real grassroots work. Can you speak about that, because it's the bottom of the ladder?
Yeah, it's the tough and the fun stuff, like I call it. I meet so many people on a daily basis who just ventured into tennis, and it's exciting. Basically, I started young, so I understand the importance of playing the game at the age of 5, 6, 7, where the real fundamentals and the real athleticism can kick in. I mean, obviously that wasn't the case when I started, but now through Team Tennis India is where I work. I mean, the company that I work with, and it's founded by my coach, Mr. Aditya Sachdeva, who's also very popularly known as Yuki's coach now. So yeah,
Addy sir.
yes, Addy sir. Yes, everybody knows him as Addy sir. So he trains all the trainees at City Fort and his top centers in Noida Stadium and Panchsheel. But I look into more of grassroots, where schools like Modern School, Vasant Vihar, and Cambridge, and all these schools in Delhi NCR, where we have young kids age 5, 6, 7 who pick up tennis in school or after school. Whether it could be recreational or whether it was just like being outdoors and playing a sport. And through these kids, when we do a lot of tournaments for them, a lot of easy competition and fun stuff, so that slowly, if we see someone who's talented, then we guide the parents to start thinking about tennis in a more professional manner. So
And
it's tough to convince parents and to make them understand that it's a very, very long road. And this is just the beginning, but you've got to believe in your children, and some of them are very enthusiastic and they take us very seriously, but so it's like it goes both ways. But we managed to have more than 7 to 8 thousand kids who join tennis. Yes,
absolutely.
especially in North India, through these school and grassroots programs, as we call them.
Yeah.
And it's been wonderful interacting with the parents and the kids so far.
It's good, because unless you bring more people coming into the sport, how can we look at the talent in the sport? More they play, more people play, the better for tennis community.
Yeah, I
Right.
think
I
I
mean,
see so many girls who are so they're so focused and they're so motivated and they're so enthusiastic when they come on the tennis court, and it's so much fun. There are these 6, 7, 8 year old girls hitting the ball and stroking very confidently, and it's very enjoyable to see so many young kids picking up the racket at such at this age. So
you
I
see
think
more. Yeah, sorry, sir. Go ahead. So go ahead.
yes. So yes, there is definitely a huge number of girls and their parents who are taking interest in the game, which is what I want, and which is what we
Yeah.
are all aiming for. That if we have more and more kids picking up this sport, it will not only make the sport popular, it will also bring in all the talent, and then I'm very sure that we're going to have a lot of good players coming up in the future. Because if they pick it up at this age with the knowledge that that we have now, I wasn't there earlier, but the knowledge that we have now, I feel that we can see a lot more future stars coming out of them if they take the right road and the tough road ahead.
Yeah. No, very happy to hear more girls are taking up tennis. Actually, talking about it, Ankita was telling me she's very happy to have a lady coach in the team, and she said and Ankita also hits with me. So she said it's like an added advantage. I have somebody as a coach. I think Asian Games you are with her. Spend a lot of time more than the Fed Cup during the Asian Games in Indonesia. So she was telling me it's such a pleasure to have a lady coach. So I hope we have more tennis players, and then also that will what lead to lady coaches, right? Without so many tennis players coming in, we don't see coaches who can work with players at that level. So credit to you.
That's very nice of her to say. I just feel that being a player and having played all these events that the girls are playing now, whether it was the Asian Games or whether it's Fed Cup. Since I've played in all these events, I've had some good, I've had good coaches and good captains, and I've had a wonderful experience when I was traveling. Yes, they were all. So you were a part of one of my under 16 junior Fed Cup. You were the coach for the boys team, I remember. But yeah, we had Gary sir, and Fed Cup has been a great experience with Rico sir. So I've had some good coaches who've been with us, but I feel as a player I can relate to the women more because I understand some of the aspects that the players go through. So if I can help them out, whether it's on the tennis court or off the tennis court, then and they can do well, I think then my job is well done. I mean, Ankita's, we've had we've had great interactions through all these events that both of us have been part of, and whatever knowledge or whatever inputs I could give her on and off the tennis court, I feel like she's taken them very seriously, and I'm glad she tries and implements to see how successful she is in doing those. So it's been good so far.
Even Sania has a lot of appreciation for you. She considers you a good friend, competed together. Now you're a coach, so she feels being you being part of the team makes a big difference. So she has a lot of she feels you had a really good potential when you were competing against each other.
Yeah,
she special praise for your forehand.
That's nice of her to say, but we go back a very long way. I mean, we are the same age, and we were competing with each other, I think, since the age of 12. And we've also traveled with each other in all the under 14s, under 16 teams. I remember playing nationals, women's nationals with her when we were 15 years old, playing against Rushmi and Sai at the LTA. And we've had some really great experiences, whether it was in France in La Baule, and I met her for Fed Cup after I think after a very, very long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it didn't feel like it was a long gap. It just felt like
You just connected straight away.
Yes,
Took off from where you left earlier.
Absolutely, yeah. She was joking with me once we were watching one of the matches, and she's like, "Oh my God, you're just the same. You haven't changed." So we cracked up. But yeah, I think everybody enjoyed having her on the team, because she was a great morale booster for all of them, and she ended up basically, she won all her doubles ties, which is how we got through in the end. They were all very, very crucial at 1-1. And we've been in this situation before in Delhi. That was the first Delhi 2018 when I was the captain for the Fed Cup team for the first time. We had Ankita, we had Karman, and I think it was her debut year, or she was playing in Delhi for the Fed Cup for the first time. So there were certain situations where we were 1-1, and even against Kazakhstan, where Ankita had managed to beat Yulia Putintseva, which was a very big win. And we lost most of our ties in doubles. So, this time, thanks to Sania and Ankita combining well, I think that we pulled through, which was superb.
Yeah.
And doubles has always been very crucial when it comes to team championships. And I think if you have a strong player, then that's when you have
a good doubles team. Yeah, you have 1 point, almost like, in your kitty.
yeah. I think we've seen enough of that with Jana and Mahesh. And
Correct. And talking about players, I mean, when you were playing, you had a set of players, and now though you're a coach, but you still have those players, and also the younger generation is playing now. Do you see a difference in attitude, like from your generation to the current generation of players? Like good, bad, both ways?
Yes, I see a lot of difference actually. I think that there's a huge difference between the players then and the players now. I think we were probably more friendly because there was like a small lot of players, not so many, and most of our interaction was mainly during tournaments, and there wasn't so much traveling then as it is now. We were all, trying to kind of pave our way through because everybody was trying to do what was right. There wasn't so much knowledge that was available, in terms of, yes, there have been good coaches, but there is a lot that goes into making a tennis player that we see now, and we've learned from the West. We didn't really have that much knowledge or the information that we have on the net now, or the information that we have from players who are still a part of the game, to talk about what is it that was lacking with in their path, and what is it that they could have done better. So I feel like the future generation obviously benefits from that if they are willing to understand some of the journeys that the players before them have taken, and what are the points that one should incorporate, whether it's in their coaching team or whether it's their uh, coaching, or whether it's the way they practice. I think if they can learn from the pros and the cons, they can definitely go further ahead.
That's true. That's true. And talking about yourself, I mean, your cousins, and between you and your cousins, you were the first to get into tennis, right? Because your elder cousins were into table tennis. So did you play table tennis for a while? I mean, did you try it out? Or?
No, I didn't. I think so it wasn't me that I didn't start tennis on my own. It was my dad. I think he really liked the sport, and and he thought it was like an individual sport. So, you can just take your child to the tennis court, and they can hit a few balls, have a good time in the evening. And I think it had more to do with the fact that he wanted me to kind of stay away from other things and other distractions and play a sport. So yes, I mean, not that there were many at that point of time. I feel like there are much more now. But so it was all about just playing some tennis and maybe become probably Delhi #1. I think that is what he told me, that was one of his first aims when I was growing up, when I was 7, 8. I used to watch all the top players in Dhaita practicing at the LTA.
And I read that when you were 4 years old, when your dad tried to put you into a tennis center, they refused because you were small. I mean, do you remember that story?
I don't, but I was told that almost every academy said that no, she's too small and she's too young, and obviously I don't reach net height. So and there were no mini tennis rackets also at that point of time. There were like these I think wooden rackets. So I still have my first Pro Kennex racket. I think I played with it, then Sana played with it, and then Yuki played with it, and then my dad has hung it very proudly in his room. So
it was family racket, you mean?
So my parents used to, in a park nearby, my parents used to throw some balls, and I used to just swing them, and then slowly one of the coaches started me off. Since he was a doctor, he did everything very scientifically. So he said I started with 15 minutes 3 or 4 days a week, and then it moved on to 30 minutes. And he was very happy when I completed 1 hour of tennis one day. Those are very interesting stories that I got to hear later on. So he said that it's very gradually that he made me increase my number of hours on court, which is very important for the new parents to also understand.
Rightly done.
He had no sports background. He's a doctor, but he applied science to everything.
Correct. So and common sense. It is common sense.
So he said that, so he very gradually from 1 hour to 1.5 to 2 hours. So,
because interesting you mentioning about this, because last week I was talking to Karan. He's the same age, and when he was 4 and not even net height, but he was more fortunate than you. There were people coaches to rally with him in Bombay.
Well, even when I remember, even at our time, we always had very, very strong team of players coming from Bombay. I think tennis was very popular in Maharashtra, and I think there were probably like 2 players or 3 players from Delhi and a bunch of like 8, 10 girls from Maharashtra. Like there was Radhika, there was Sonal, there was Lisa, there was Megha, so Isha. So there are like these whole bunch of very talented players that I have always played with and against in tournaments. So I feel like tennis was definitely much more popular there.
Yeah. And when you were playing, you mostly there were not so many girls, right? So you used to practice more with the boys, right? Till you reached like 12, 13 and all. I mean, even 14 also. I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't think there were any girls. I mean, there were a few good players, but they were all much older. So they were, I think, already playing under 18 and under 16. Um, I had heard about them, but yes, at my age, the academies only had boys, and they were also much older. So it was always tough when I was competing against them, because if I lost, then they were like, I'm not good, and if I won, they were too scared to play again, because they never wanted to lose to a girl. So it was always, so my coaches used to say that it was always very tough to make me play sets, because they
boys didn't want to play.
Yes, yeah. So it was difficult.
Yeah, but it was good since you played with boys. You were a lot tougher. So you started winning when you were young itself, like 14, 15. You started beating a lot of ladies in India.
I think it really helped, because since I played with all these boys, I felt like they used to hit the ball really hard. So at a young age, I learned how to kind of return balls with that pace, and it made me stronger as well, whether it was physically or mentally on the tennis court, to always kind of fight it out. So I feel that that at that age, it kind of helped me in a way to become a much stronger player.
Yeah, and you had mentioned how that started you in tennis, and took you 15 minutes, and slowly he gradually increased your load. But your dad is also very particular about studying, right? I mean, because I had conversations with him where he always spoke education is important. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm told you and like Sana read in the car while going to the courts and back. I mean, apparently that's how you catch up with studies.
That is true, actually. So we used to go to this. We used to go to this academy, which was about 30 odd minutes away, called Shanti Sports Club. When we were young, about between the age of 8 to 13, we practiced there, and we were obviously in junior school and middle school. But my dad, because so that we don't miss any practice sessions and we don't end up taking month-long breaks before our exam, he made sure that the 30 minutes going and coming were well spent, and he made us do all our revisions, not just then, but also we carried our books when we went for tournaments, so that every time we came back, there used to be a test in our school on Mondays. So then he made sure that we gave those tests. He said, it's going to be a nice revision, so you better study during the tournaments as well. So I always remember carrying books for tournaments and studying for probably 30-45 minutes each day at the end of the day. Yeah.
And your dad taught you mathematics, your mom taught you English, but I
Yes.
believe every night before you sleep, you had to solve 5 mathematical
3 sums. Yes, I don't know how you got that information, but yeah, I don't know why that was only for me, but yeah, he made sure that I solved three math sums every day. He had this very favorite line saying ki boon boon se ghada bharta hai. So he used to say that to me all the time. So he used to say, if you keep doing these 3 sums, by the end of the week, you would have finished a chapter and you won't even feel, the burden. And he said that every time you would go into class, you will understand what the teachers are teaching you, just because you are at par with what they are doing. So he never wanted us to lag behind. And in North India, you may win that was the case when we were playing. You may end up winning a nice tournament, and you win a title, you come back home, but they'll still want to know how much you scored in your examinations. So my grandparents always used to tell him ki yeah, daughters are doing very well, but make sure ki padhai bhi karte raho. So it was, but I think we've learned a lot thanks to dad and mom being very particular about studies. He said that you'll learn much more, you'll be wiser. Tennis is going to be one part of your life, and life is a long journey, so you'll obviously need all the information. You'll be able to understand what's going on in the world and how to move ahead and succeed in whichever line you choose to do. So I think those words have stuck with us, and me and Sana. And Sana's doing superbly well in the US.
It's nice.
It's a different line altogether, doing marketing with Cisco. And,
okay.
Yeah. So she's a manager now, and probably one of the youngest ones in her department.
So now looking back, both of you will realize what your dad was, trying to convey to you, when you were many years ago.
Yeah, and I make sure to tell all the players that I meet with, when I meet parents and I meet kids, and the kids sometimes come to me and they complain to me saying that, parents are putting pressure to study. And I tell them that, no, it is very important. We probably didn't have the knowledge then, but now when I look back, I tell them, I do give them my example. I know it's very, very hard, but I also feel it keeps you very focused and disciplined, because it keeps you away from a lot of distractions as well. And you need, in today's world, I feel it's all the more important for parents to ensure that the kids continue studying, because you may get injured, or you may have to take a break, and there are various opportunities that one can, whether it's sports science, whether it's there are a lot of other avenues that have opened up for players these days. So it is very, very important to go to school and learn a lot more, a lot more values, and understand what it takes. I think you're better. You have a better standing in the world.
Yeah, I mean, also education never goes waste. That's how I look at it. It's always, if you're educated, it comes to your support. Whether you're in tennis, whether you're playing, whether you're coaching, you're not in tennis, whether you're in marketing, no matter which walk of life you are, if you are educated, you have you have an edge. That's my belief.
Yeah, definitely, sir. I mean, you must have seen more examples than me where you know that kids, who've gone through the education process are definitely better placed in terms of understanding situations in the world and things like that. I mean, it is very, very important. Or or different career paths later on, whether it's to grow the sport in any way possible and to give back to the sport. You have to have that kind of knowledge, and that only comes through education. So I make it a point to tell parents these days not to quit school, even if you're doing homeschool or whatever that you're doing. Make sure that they're studying, and college is a great option, like how Somdev and Sanam have taken that route. Yeah, I didn't, but so did Sana.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a great advice you can give parents, and that's the right advice for the parent and the child. I mean, I hope they appreciate what you're trying to tell them. It's a valuable advice. They won't get it otherwise. And coming from you, I mean, you have all the experience, because, I mean, your experience, Sana's experience, Yuki this side, I mean, you have everything going around you. So who better to speak about it? So they should be fortunate that they have somebody like you talking to them. I hope parents and players listening take it. It's not you're fortunate if you can get to speak to Ankita. And that's true. I mean, that's what I'm. I mean, coming back to you're talking about your father insisting on education, but you are part of a joint family, right? I mean, all of you sit together, and I think after dinner, I mean, all of you sit together. Then you have the habit of having tea after dinner, the family. So you discuss a lot about sports. I'm sure all this has now when you look back, you have learned a lot during these discussions, be it sport or values or how to conduct yourself, right? I mean, you want to share some interesting
Yeah, it's
topics?
I've had it's fun. I remember a lot of people. Sorry, that's my dog Caesar.
Yeah, no
So
worries.
yeah, he's getting
Missing.
excited hearing me talk. Yeah, he wants my attention. Coming back to my family, yeah, it's a joint family setup. You don't. It's a very rare setup that we
These
could
days.
say where we eat together and we stay in the same house. We have one kitchen, and my grandparents and my uncles and aunts all under the same roof. It's been fun
Cousins.
growing up. Yes, I mean, you know, Pratik and Prerna, and then I had older cousins who Ekta and Isha who played table tennis, and we now have a new fitness freak in the family. Vinayak, he's he's going massively into fitness and making sure that he's very lean and fit, giving us all major fitness goals these days. When I see him do some squats and see him do very tough exercises on a daily basis, he gets up at 6 a.m. to work out. So I tease
Wow.
him that, yeah, he's his age. So all of them have tried their hand at tennis as well. Pratik and Prerna obviously took it far and did really well themselves.
Yeah.
Prerna is still playing, and it's we all most of us went to the same school, so it was really interesting. All of us played tennis together, so we had a lot to talk about. We were all also very busy traveling in different parts of the world when we were playing tournaments. But we've never missed people around because we've been this great bunch. And now that we get together, it becomes another fun evening, whether it's celebrating birthdays. Like we've never, we've always had these family get-togethers and family group where we talk about things and we discuss what's happening, whether it's gossip or latest movies. So it's been very fun having all of them, and it's been very supporting too because my mother was traveling a lot with Yuki as well. So we never felt that there was nobody in the house because we had aunts and uncles um, always there. So when we made, I mean, my dad made sure that my mom traveled with Yuki, and we were also very particular about it because we missed having her with us when me and Sana did our international travel. We couldn't really afford to have another person traveling with us, whether it was a coach or a parent. So we did most of our travels alone when we were younger. So coming from a joint family, I think it was a lot of support. And everybody could travel. You never felt alone.
And I'm told your food at your place is fabulous. Radhi stays with you, right? So she tells me food at your place is really good, and she always overeats when she stays with you all.
Yeah, we had one tournament where, in fact, this is really funny. We used to have these 4 weeks of Master Circuit. I played them twice. They were called the $5,000 Master Circuits. They don't happen anymore.
Yeah.
These were the ITF women's circuits that used to have. They were called the Futures. Yeah. So we don't have them anymore, and they used to be 4 weeks together. And sometimes 2 weeks consecutively took place in Delhi. And since my house was very close to DLTA, my dad offered them to stay at our place. So we had Radhika Tilpule, we had Sonal, we had Sheetal, and I think we had Lisa. So staying at our place in the same week. So I think half the draw was in the same house.
I think your family has a habit of putting up people, right? Because Karan mentioned when he was playing once, he and his family stayed with you all. You had a flat, and they stayed, and that is the year you and Karan won 3 titles at the nationals.
Yeah, that was a fabulous year. I'll never forget 2000. I know. Oh yes, he also has stayed with us. You know what? I think that's my dad. I think he understood very early that it's very tough for parents and players. At that especially, I call it the pre-Google
era.
period where yes, where you really didn't know where the tournament was, where you were going, and you needed help, and then you end up in a tournament, and you don't have anybody to practice with. Mobiles only came in slightly later, so um, and it was obviously very expensive, and you didn't reach there 3 or 4 days earlier, which I now advise parents and kids to do, to get as familiar with the tournaments as possible and reach a few days early. So we couldn't really do much of that, although we would have liked to. So he understood very early on that if you could save some expenses in the tournament, you could end up playing another tournament. So because he was always traveling with me, I have done most of my traveling in the junior national circuit with my dad and Sana. We played tournaments together, so hotel rooms and expenses while traveling, food and all was always quite a bit, even at that point of time. So if you could save a little bit in one tournament, you could end up playing another tournament. So when he realized that, I think he made sure if he could accommodate somebody at home, then they could probably also benefit and not spend that much. So it was that is something that I've learned from him. Yeah, he has a big heart. So he said that whoever can come and enjoy the hospitality, I'd be glad to have them with me.
Okay, that's he was a visionary. I mean, he saw things from far. I mean, he really saw ahead, which helped you all.
I remember him I also remember him, making me train with you for 1 week. I don't know if you remember. It was one of the very early. I had just entered the women's circuit. I was barely 15 years old, and I ended up playing one of the master tournaments, women's ITF tournaments in Pune, and I was having a very terrible 3-week, stint before that. I had just graduated from under 14, under 16, straight away to women's, and I had 3 tough, I think, second round and first round losses. And he had heard of you at Ferguson College, and he said, okay, let's just train here for a week and at least practice if you don't do well in the tournament. So I remember that week very well. It was a very memorable week where I ended up winning the title. It was definitely not expected.
I think that was the first title, no?
Yes, it was. Yeah. Wow. So I had. We had 3 weeks. I think the entire circuit was based in I think cities in Maharashtra, and it was in PYC. The Masters was in PYC Gymkhana. I think we played 1 week in Nagpur, 1 week in Kolhapur, and I don't remember where the first leg took place, but the Masters was in. I think I was probably the last or the second last. Only 16 players. Top 16 players from that circuit were allowed to play the Masters, which was the 4th leg and which was the main tournament where you got maximum point, where you got the main points and good prize money. So I remember being one of the last ones in and having a train ticket back for 2 days later into the tournament. But I remember practicing with you the entire week and you really grilled me hard. Every evening after each match, nobody knew that I was coming to you to practice at Ferguson. And that was my first tournament that I won in the women's.
I'll tell you why I remember that tournament. I mean, full credit to you and your father. I mean, I have mentioned this to whoever I can, whenever I can. Because when you talk about decency, gratitude, I mean, I have to tell this story, and I'm going to tell it here again with full detail. I mean, you played the tournament, you won the tournament. I mean, great. But more than that, those days from Pune, there was only flights in the evening. There was one Indian Airlines and I think one Sahara flight, which goes in the evening, like 6:37. If you miss that flight, then you wait 24 hours because you can fly only next day.
Yes.
Yeah. You finished your tournament midday, when your finals was over midday, prize distribution, everything was done by 2:33. You and your dad could have taken the flight and gone back to Delhi. But both of you, I mean, I can never forget that day. When I came to the courts at 4, you and your dad were waiting for me. You waited just to say thanks, and you had a box of sweets for all the staff because some of the boys were hitting there, and you gave sweets to all the kids who are there. I mean, more than the sweets, the idea that you had to stay back, meet, and say thank me in person. I mean, how can I forget? It doesn't happen every day, Ankita. I mean, now that you're a coach, it doesn't happen often. These are special moments. I mean, I remember your dad and you always for that, and I point out. I mean, it's a good opportunity now that this topic came up, but I wanted to say that I was waiting for a chance. Thanks for leading me into that thing. So special thanks to your father and you. That shows. But actually, if you look back, this is exactly what you were saying earlier. What your dad taught you in terms of values and the family sitting together talking. These are the values which go a long way in a person. I mean, it will never leave you. It's with you, and that impression which has made on me. And every chance I get, I have tried to do the same. And I used to feel like how when you all did it, it made me feel so happy. So I make an effort to do the same every opportunity now. So thanks to you. I mean, that I learned purely from you. I'm not saying it because I have to say this in air, but it was fact that I learned from you. It was so touching. I mean, when that time I was younger, I found it nice and felt good. But as we get older and we have more bad experiences, you cherish I mean, wow. I mean, you could have easily left. You stayed overnight, so you had to spend for an extra night hotel and nothing to do next day. Just to come and I mean, you meet me and then you wait the whole 24 hours to take the next flight. I mean, thank you. I mean, please thank your father again when you meet. I haven't met him for a long time, but I must thank him.
Sir, he always talks very highly of you, and he remembers that. Those are some very, very kind words that I will remember. But it was a great week. There was actually, I mean, training with you made me realize I am very routine oriented person, and I follow routines very religiously. And I have realized that the little success that I have had in life is thanks to the routines I've had in life, that I follow. And that made me change my routine. I realized how important it was to train during tournaments, because we didn't really have any guidance. It was all try luck and opportunities, and we made the most of what we could at that point of time. So that is when after that tournament is when I realized how important it is to train every evening after matches. I remember giving you little knowledge of the players who I was playing. You obviously knew some of them much more, and you gave me strategies that I could implement in that match. So in each match, I remember whoever I was playing, some really good players at that time, and no expectations of winning any match. I remember barely pulling through in each and every match just because I had a strategy, and I was training, so I was in good form. So that made me realize how important it is to keep training during tournaments. So every time I meet players, I tell them that just playing a match is not important. Make sure you follow your routines, make sure you do your rehab, make sure you do your fitness. These are very important aspects of playing tournaments. So and that's when I realized that this part is missing in my training schedule, in my tournament schedule. We ended up playing for 5 weeks of tournaments in a row, and every time we came back, either the forehand broke down, or the serve, or small aspects of our game. So by the time we ended up playing our third to fourth tournament, the game was not as sharp as it should have been, irrespective of how we fared in the tournament. So that's when we realized, and I continued this till I practiced. I mean, till I kept playing professional tennis, and I made sure that whether it was Sana or whoever it was, I practiced every evening. If I was very tired, then I would do a very small hit with her in the evening. But if our match was not very long, then we made sure that we had a good hit in the evening and discuss a little bit of strategy before going in for the next match. It really helped change my perspective going into future tournaments, and I'm thankful to you for that.
Thank you. Talking about playing, you didn't play much juniors, like the ITF juniors, right? I mean, you went straight to women's compared to Sana. I think Sana played more juniors than you, right, in the ITF juniors. When you look back, do you feel you could have played more juniors, or you're happy that you took this route and she took that route?
No, I can I can definitely say that her route was definitely um, I think the one that players should take. It's very
Okay.
important to play the junior circuit. Yeah. Um, at that point of time, you had to travel with a parent. There were not too many players playing. I remember Sanya played a lot of junior tournaments and did really well and got a lot of experience playing against Europeans and Americans and playing so many tournaments and gaining the necessary knowledge, or probably looking at how the players practice. Because every time I met her in one of the Indian tournaments, when at the age of 15, 16, I saw a much improved and a much better player because I was playing with her constantly at during our junior days. So I saw her do really well, and since I wasn't traveling much and I went from I think in the year 2000, I managed to get a wild card. That was a different story altogether. But yeah, I ended up playing more of women's tournaments around Asia. So I feel that was very tough to make that transition early on. Suddenly, from playing finals in under 14s and under 16s to winning titles, you go on to losing first round, second round. It becomes very hard for a player. And you don't even gain the necessary knowledge or the experience that can make you into a better player. And we understood that when Sana, she ended up playing a lot more tournaments with Somdev, with Karan, with Sanya. AITA in fact had a traveling coach and a team. I think that was a fantastic idea and initiative, and I think they must do that. I think it benefited the players. We had some of the top juniors of our country. We had Jeevan, we had Sanam, we had Somdev, Karan, Sanya, Sana. I think Sana was only 15 when she was top 30 in the world in juniors. And all of that happened only because, a lot of credit goes to, I think, the teams and the travels that they did with the coach. So they were obviously all very good players themselves, which is why they made the most of the opportunity given to them. But it does help having somebody traveling and getting the exposure. So it's very important. I'm not saying focus a lot on the results, but focus a lot on developing at that age. I think 14 to 18 is a very crucial age to develop the mind, to develop the body physically, mentally, and understand what the West is doing. Probably do some training stints abroad, understand what European clay is, and probably see what fitness routines are required, what part of your body needs more development, and all of these aspects will help you transition better from juniors to seniors.
And I think when you were 14 or 15, you and Sana won a nationals doubles title, right? I mean, you're young. And also you had a tournament where you played and then later they said you're not eligible to play women's.
So this was the year 2000, and this is the 14. Same year that Karan and me won the triple crown Shriram in Shriram Open. I won the 14 singles, I won 16 singles, and I won 16 doubles with Sana. So that was a great year. Yeah, I think I finished number 1. And I ended up winning both the under 16 and the under 14 nationals. And Shriram Open, and now players know it as the Fenesta Open. Yes, but it was called the DCM Shriram Open at that point, and it had immense weightage and popularity that it has now. It was I think, one of the most coveted national events for the country. I think if you won it, it kind of validated the fact that, okay, you were the legitimate legitimate number one in the
National
country.
champion. Yeah.
Yes, right. So, and especially being in Delhi. So, I think more than me, it was my parents, who thought that, okay, player from Delhi must win it. And so I think it was a big achievement. And Karan also ended up winning 3 titles. And the only reason we ended up winning the under 16 doubles is because me and Sana had won the under 14s, I think the year before, if I'm not mistaken. And she was a very confident player, even when she was 12, 13. And she said, okay, let's play under 16 this time. Let's try and win that. I'm not playing under 14 since I've played it before. So that was very, at that age, she was, I think, barely 12. Yeah. So at that age, now that I look back and I think, I'm like, okay, how did we manage to do that? But that was a great year. So I ended up getting, in fact, thanks to winning the Triple Crown, I ended up getting a wild card into one of the ITFs under ITF women's tournament, a $10,000. And I hadn't. I hadn't reached my 14. I hadn't reached my 14th birthday. Yes, I had completed 14. So it was 1 week before my 14th birthday, and I ended up winning a round in the main draw.
Okay.
And only to be told 1 week later that you were not eligible to play this tournament. I was very happy with the prize money I had received, and the prize money and the points, yes, were taken back. Because apparently you had to be 14 to start playing women's. So that was my first entry into women's at such a young age.
That's wonderful. There was a question. Deepak Kapoor, he wanted to know what's your views on this age cheating issues. I'm sure it was there in the past and it's there now as well. People changing their age and playing juniors longer than they should be. So your views on that, Ankita?
So I just feel that they definitely don't gain in the long run, and it's a very short-term goal. So it has obviously been there, not so much though. I still feel that in tennis is comparatively, I think it's been a much clean sport, and age probably only matters till the under 14 or under 14 or under 16 level. After that, it's what's more important is the player and the game and all the training that they've done. So I feel that it's a very short-term gain that some people may get, but otherwise one shouldn't really pay attention to. It obviously shouldn't, be there, but I feel like it doesn't really give you much of a benefit, especially in tennis.
Yeah, true. Unless you develop as a player, it doesn't matter how old you are. You can be at 15 and winning, and you can be at 25 and not winning if you're not good enough. So
you have to be a complete player to be able to win, especially with the competition now and with the number of players that are playing tennis in our country. I think it has improved and increased by many-fold. And the knowledge that the kids and the parents come with these days is also much more. And I think our sport, in sports in general, this is a good time to play sports, I feel. Because a lot of ex-sports, I think at our time, we only had you, we had Nandan sir, we had a few players, we had a few people who had played the game professionally coming back to this sport. But now a lot of them recognize the hardships that they faced and the journey that they've taken, and they like this field and they're so passionate about it that they're all still involved with the sport in some way or the other. So I feel that there is immense knowledge all around, and the parents and kids are also much more aware and much more focused and passionate about it today. And they have the knowledge, yes. So it's a good time to play the sport.
Yeah, talking about coaching, Mukund, you know Mukund, right? SK Mukund. So Mukund wants to know how different is coaching now compared to like 2008, 2010, basically 10 years ago to now.
Yeah.
He wants to know how coaching has changed, maybe from your playing days to now your coaching days. How do you see coaching?
Well, I think the students have definitely, and their mindset has definitely changed. We were, since we only had a very limited bunch of coaches around us, who were really good. I feel that they were valued a lot more, and I feel that we were ready to take whatever knowledge they had and move ahead. Um, and I think gratitude, as you mentioned, was a lot more. Where and I think it was mainly tennis coaching and tennis coaches. Now, the entire spectrum has also broadened quite a bit. For a tennis player, it was. I mean, when I was playing up, it was only a tennis coach. We never moved beyond that. Probably started with fitness till I didn't start training with Adi sir. My level and my concept of fitness was very basic and minimum. It's only he who introduced me to a lot of gym training and um, a lot of on-court fitness. When he made me realize that I was really slow on court and I needed to be able to hit those shots harder and better. I needed to get to the balls faster. So that's when my tennis coach introduced me to a lot more fitness on and off the court. So I think the entire coaching scene has changed. There are a lot more people that you can gain knowledge from. A lot of the international players are still involved in the sport, whether it's Karan or whether it's, you know, you guys are still there. So, yeah, absolutely. A
Been
lot to
around for
learn
a
from. We are still
while.
learning. We're always learning from you and all the other coaches that I've had in my life. So, I feel that it's changed quite a bit. The parents are more aware. They need to understand the perspective of the coach and they need to understand what's going to benefit the player. Obviously, coaching is not just limited to tennis coaches, but now you need physios and hitters and trainers. So, a mental element. So, I think there's a very broad spectrum that has now been introduced into a player's life and a team that we call it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the top players will understand um, what I'm saying because it is very important to have a team with you to be able to be successful in today's world.
Yeah. And coming back to your playing days, since you mentioned, I mean, I'm sure you didn't have this kind of a support then, but in spite of that, in 2002, you had a phenomenal year. I mean, you just spoke about your first title. I think that was the year you, Sania, and Kartiki, but got India to the Junior World, I mean, Fed Cup fifth position, right? I mean, that was a great year. I don't think we have replicated that performance ever since you guys did it. You want to talk about 2002? I think that's a big year for you in terms of results and
It was a year of many firsts. That was the year that we qualified for the under 16 Junior Fed Cup. We went to La Balle in France, and fifth in the world was amazing. We ended up losing, I think, our first tie against Russia, and thereafter, I think, winning every tie after. It was a surreal experience. It was, I think, probably my first experience playing on European clay.
oh, okay.
Yes, lots of different fantastic players from different parts of the world. The tournament was for boys and girls together. So a very um, renowned player and a very common name that you will hear is Rafael Nadal, who also happened to represent Spain that year in the same tournament. So, um, and everybody was talking about him in that tournament as well.
Okay.
So it was a great year for us as well. I think we did really well. We came fifth. I also happened to get selected for Asian Games. I think that year.
Busan.
Or maybe probably in 2000 next year. But
Okay.
yeah. But
Following year.
it was thanks to that performance and doing well in the circuit that year that led to the selection. So it was really good. It was an exposure into what the European circuit was like. We had top players from in their age group from Russia, from the US, and from all other European nations. that continue to produce some great players. So it was a great learning experience, and we had a lot of fun during that trip as well.
I'm sure. And you mentioned about Asian Games, right? I mean, that time you were like 15 plus, hardly 16, and you were part of the team where you had Mahesh, Leander, Nirupama. So how was it to be like baby of the team? What's your experience?
Yeah, I think you first. I mean, I think they took like the top juniors. They decided to take the top juniors and give them the experience to, to be in the team and to show them what it is like to be in such events. And I was very, and I consider to be, lucky that I even got an opportunity to play that year. I
Okay.
played doubles with, yes, I played doubles with Rushmi. And
Rushmi.
yes,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, so we were it was fantastic. I think we were young, and we were meeting these people who we consider as our idols. Leander, Mahesh, and we had Vishal, we had Mustafa. Nirupama had come back for that event. We had Rushmi, we had Manisha. I was meeting all of them for the first time, and they were these very experienced professional players, all playing and talking about medals and what their scope for winning was. And I remember, I think Leander and Mahesh also they did fantastic. I think and I got to see them all playing live, understanding what their routines were like. So it was a great learning experience, and I think it only motivated me further into working harder so that I could cement my place, and play more of these events for the country. I think it
At
kind
an
of
young age,
motivated.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure at an young age to be, part of these very inspirational and motivating, right? I mean,
Yeah, I think you learn a lot from them, from their work ethic, from the way they take their matches, how they prepare. You get to see, up front how what their practice routines are like, and how focused and the kind of intensity that they put into each match, no matter who the opponent is. So it was a great learning experience, and 2 weeks was a good time that I spent with the team, on and off the court. I also managed to see some of India's top players, who were also representing the country in other sports. I saw,
disciplines, yeah.
yes, the legendary Dhanraj Pillai, and
Right.
I think I happened to see one of their matches. So I think, and a lot of other players, and from other sports. So it was a very humbling and a learning experience for me, which kind of motivated me to go back and work harder and become better at as a tennis player.
Must be really interesting, right? When you're playing a match and we have Indian sportsmen from other discipline cheering you on. I mean, it's a great feeling. We don't normally get to experience that during other tournaments, right?
Yeah, so I always cherished, these experiences, because tennis is such an individual sport. You're always playing for yourself. You're always, traveling. You've always either had a parent or I've had a sibling in my case, and we've always been on our own, navigating the path and playing these tournaments around the world where you don't really know many people. So
Yeah.
so when you play for the country, I feel like it's a different feeling altogether. And when you see such great players who've reached that far and who've done so well for our country despite the hardships and despite the struggles, it kind of motivates you, and it kind of gives you that added boost,
Correct.
and I certainly felt it at that point of time. I remember
Okay.
coming back and talking about it with my parents and sharing my experiences with them.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it
Yeah.
was. I think it was great that we got the chance to be in the team at that age. I feel like these experiences can really help junior players understand that it's a long, long road ahead, and
Yeah.
small results and junior success is somewhat important, but not the ultimate. It's You have a very long road to go, and you must ensure that you are developing as a complete tennis player, physically, mentally, um, and on and off the court,
Yeah.
to be
And
able to succeed on the pro circuit.
perfectly, yeah. Because if you focus on juniors, you lose track of what's happening later, and it's too
Yeah.
late by the time you get there.
I
The
I
time
mean,
is
now
fast.
I meet so many parents who are so happy when their kids win TS series and SS series, and they're so they celebrate those wins. Yeah, I mean, it's a good stepping stone, and it's definitely important. And these wins will help you get better. But let's not forget the bigger picture. If you want to see your child playing a Grand Slam, or if you want to see, if you are thinking of becoming a professional tennis player, then make sure that your main focus is towards developing the child's physique, developing him mentally, making sure that they have the right coaches, the right physios, you know, and making sure you're listening to your tennis coach. A lot of parents don't do that. And doing your rehab and all these important aspects that one needs to be able to develop their body.
And I mean, coincidentally, as you are talking about it, actually there was a listener who asked, advice on coaching 11-year-olds, and you're already talking about it. So whatever you mentioned now, if they take note, I think that's good enough to handle 11-year-olds. Not to worry about tournaments and results. To
Yeah, you
focus
don't
on
have to run.
developing.
You don't have to run around the country playing 20, 25 weeks. You will be doing that much later when you are 16, 17, 18,
You don't have a
But
choice then.
yeah, then that is what your life is going to be all about. I mean, I remember Yuki telling me whenever he's playing the circuit and he's playing, when he's on top of his game, he's like, it's just me, my coach, and my suitcase. We're in one continent, and from there on, next week, next tournament, next continent. So you're always traveling, and that's you're going to be your life for a long time if you manage to reach the pro circuit. But before that, it's important to develop completely as a player. You need to understand the important aspects of training a player, and that's the time that you focus on. I mean, we didn't have the knowledge then, but now we have some of the top physios, we have some of the top trainers, and the knowledge is available. So the players must spend as much time off court, making sure that they're doing the right exercises, and that the time that they spend on court. So the off court and on court time needs to be balanced, and each are more as important as the other. Don't just keep practicing 4 to 5 hours a day without thinking about the rehab or the fitness or physical development that the body needs.
I mean, you're talking about traveling. I mean, you did a lot of travel with Sana, right? I mean, you both were
Yes.
traveling, and you
Yes.
had some interesting experiences. In Nigeria, you were caught in the middle of a riot, or something to that effect, right? Scary
Yes.
experience.
Yes, so it was me, Sana, and Rushmi that were traveling to. We've traveled with her also in quite a few tournaments. We were in Nigeria, and there were a few other Indians as well in that trip. I think I'm not very sure, but then we landed up there and we realized the next day there was a curfew and we couldn't go out of the hotel. So with no time to practice or to experience what the courts were like, we had to start tournament the next day. So we were completely indoors one day, and because of the riots that had started, we were coming back after one of our matches. We were coming back, and there was the bus caught fire, and everybody was so scared. But luckily, I mean, I think the organizers and the bus driver and everybody was so they were thorough professionals that they made sure that they didn't stop anywhere but the hotel. So no harm done. Everybody was safe, but it was a tough experience. I remember a lot of players played tournaments in Nigeria because it helped getting some valuable points. And points were obviously hard to get and very, very important to build up on the ranking, so that you could end up playing some tournaments in Europe to get the experience. So that was one very scary experience that we had during that trip. But
You had any other interesting experiences of travel?
I once remember going to London. I remember a few days before there had been some problems and there was some attacks that had happened in London, and I remember reaching there, and it took us a long time in immigration. We were waiting for Rushmi uh, instead of uh, instead of leaving at probably 10 in the morning, we ended up leaving at around 6, 7 in the evening. And and in those days, we also had to go to another city. We weren't actually playing a tournament in London. We were playing a tournament in another city, which was further away from London, and we had to take a few trains. In fact, I remember we were given a route, a train route that we had to follow, and one of the trains also got cancelled. So uh, I we had to take a totally completely different route, and in those days, getting information was very very tough. So reaching the organizers was even tougher because you didn't really have cell phones and you didn't really have, and even if you did, it was very difficult to make those international calls. So we were really worried whether you know our sign-ins were done and everything, and to inform the organizers that yes, we were on our way. So we ended up spending an entire day, taking trains all around England to reach the city that we were playing our tournaments in. But I think those experiences kind of made us tougher and made us wiser. And travel seems
Sure.
much easier these days, where we already know where we are going, how we're going to be
Correct.
there, get there, and yeah. But they were
Which
fun
you,
times. We also enjoyed a lot.
yeah. I mean, you mentioned the pre-Google days. You and Sana, two girls traveling together. I mean, not very easy, right? I mean, must have been so much more challenging compared to the present era to travel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how we did it at that point of time. We were both very young, 16, and I was 16, she was 14, and we did quite a bit of we did quite a bit of traveling on our own. It was tough for our parents as well because we really had to pick and choose our tournaments. I think that's one of the reasons why I ended up playing uh, less tournaments than I should have while I was playing the professional women's circuit. Um, it was my goal always to make sure that I play at least 1 year where I managed to play 18 tournaments because that was the number of tournaments, in which your ranking points were added. So to improve your ranking, you had to play a minimum of 18 tournaments. And there were a few tournaments that used to take place in India, but to travel abroad for uh, 14, 15 tournaments, was quite tough. So we were always picking and choosing our tournaments very wisely, and also depended on how we fared in the previous tournament. Uh, so that we made sure that we did well enough to save some for the next tournament.
Correct. Yeah.
It was very tough at that point of time, and I think our parents' support is what got us going.
And
They were
I
very, very
mean,
supportive. Yeah.
yeah, of course, I mean, without parent support, I mean, children, very difficult for children to, especially when you're ranked. When Karan was talking about how parents, pick them up from school in the morning, drive them to the courts, finish practice, apart from the financial support, I mean, just being there and taking you around when you're ranked. I mean, if the parents don't put in that effort, it's so difficult for for the child to, make it or play tournaments.
No, I think the best part when I was playing was like whether it was Adisa or whether it was my parents, everybody was in sync. They were all on the same page, and I feel like they were all very supportive. Because in India, I think if the parents and the coaches don't understand the players and they are not supportive, um, it's going to be a very very tough ride. And to make it without parental support um, is very very tough because there are on a daily basis you're competing and you're playing. You need somebody to talk to. You need you need to let out your steam. You need to be able to speak to somebody freely. And if you can't do that with your parents, then it becomes very very tough because they're the ones who will be able to kind of motivate you to get up the next day and to continue with the same routine, whether or not you're getting the kind of success that you are aiming for. So I remember I remember one line that Roger Federer had said that, there's only one winner, and you end up losing so many tournaments, and it's mostly losing, either whether you lose in the first round or you lose in the finals. Only one player ends up winning
Correct.
that week.
A tournament.
So so that is very true, and parents need to understand that from the very beginning, that you cannot be putting pressure on your kids. When your kids go out there to play a match, they should, parents should not be on their mind. It should be the ball. It should be their opponent. And when they come out, they should know that yes, you have their best interest at heart, and they can talk to you about anything and everything. So I was fortunate that I had that, and I feel like every player should have that. It's not necessary that you have the tennis knowledge. That's not more important. What's important is that you can connect with your child, and you can understand and motivate them in a positive way to keep going at it, because that's what's going to ultimately get them to become better tennis players. Not the negative or the criticism. I mean, I'm not saying be easy on them.
Yeah.
Yes, discipline them. But yeah.
And you mentioned about how fortunate you were, your parents supporting you. But at a very young age, I mean, you also did something for your family. I mean, you and Sana decided to support Yuki, and said, okay, let us focus on Yuki, and let the family focus on him. And you both decided to take a small step backwards for Yuki's tennis. So that's very inspirational, supportive, and really thoughtful of you both, right?
So Yuki, when it comes to Yuki, for all of us, not just for me or for my mother or my father, I mean, all four of us have been his biggest supporters, and I think what he has done today, as far as his tennis career is concerned, is phenomenal. We don't usually tell him that, but I think as a family we are the happiest when he's playing a tournament and when he's playing tennis. Unfortunately, he's been injured for a while now, but I'm very sure that once he's back on the circuit, he's going to continue to attain those heights that we had envisioned that one of our family members will do. And, he's proving everybody wrong by making sure that he does so well in these tournaments. He was very, very talented. And
He is.
Yes, he is. He's very, very sharp, and he understands strategy and tactics. And I remember even as a 14-year-old, he used to come and watch my matches, and he used to be like, this girl is not very good with low balls. Maybe Anki Didi, you can try giving her some low balls. So even, at the age of 14, he didn't shy away from making sure that he gave me some
advice,
small little tip that he had observed during one of the matches that he saw either me or Sana playing. And he's fiercely competitive, very, very hardworking. So, 3 players in the family playing tennis is very, very tough. So I feel that even with my parents, they put in all the knowledge that they had gained with the two of us into making sure that he got the best of everything. And they are still very involved in his tennis career, and motivating him every day to keep working hard despite the injuries, and giving him the necessary support to ensure that he's back playing tournaments very soon. So
do you work with him sometimes?
I watch a lot of his matches as much as possible, but he mainly practices with Sir and with some of his coaches abroad. But if I do see him play, or if there are some tips that I can give him, I do from time to time.
Yeah. Now, talking about...
We are very similar people. We're very similar in terms of our values, and and he says that you were injured too a lot, so I am similar to you, and we share a lot of similarities, I feel, me and him. So I kind of understand um, him a lot better.
Oh, that's nice. It's good for him also, right? I mean, to have someone in the family who can talk to and also who can relate to what he's going through, because that's the most important thing. Because people don't relate to what you're saying. They listen. I mean, they hear you, but they're not actually getting the words right. They don't understand the depth of what you're saying, and when you will do that well, because when he speaks, you know exactly where he's coming from, what he's getting at, which makes it easier for him. So. Yeah, I hope his injuries are all set and this break has been good for him so that he can come back and start firing once the circuit is, the ATP Tour is back.
Absolutely, he's done phenomenally well, and I feel that he has a long way to go and a lot of potential. And once he's back on court, we'll definitely see him do really well again.
And I mean, Karan Rastogi was telling me, he said he has always found you to be very hardworking, intense, on and off the court. I think the only relaxation you have is watching Shah Rukh Khan movies, like first day, first show. You're there?
Yeah, first day, not first show, but yes, he's always been one of my favorites, and I'm a big movie buff, so I enjoy watching movies and a lot of TV shows. So I think when we were traveling, there wasn't much that that we could do, um, and I was very focused as when I went in for tournaments. As I had mentioned earlier, I had a routine. I used to practice. I used to train, no distractions. Tennis was all that was on my mind. But when I was back in Delhi, my dad made sure that I watched a lot of movies, and he used to take me and my sister after college. And I remember, sometimes bunking a little bit of college, and he used to buy some movie tickets for us, and we used to end up watching a lot of movies. So that was one of my favorite things to do, and I remember that very fondly. Till last year, me, my parents still went out for a lot of movies. They enjoy it as well, Bollywood, Hollywood. So we used to spend most of our Sundays going out to the mall and watching movies. So yeah, till I
You
got married
also go
last
out
year.
for dinner, right? To Pandara Road and all that. I mean, like, dinner with
Yeah, so
family.
we are I think the entire family is a foodie, and we enjoy tasting different cuisines, and Mughlai is I think our family's favorite. So whether it's Moti Mahal or whether it's Gulatis
Yeah.
at Pandara, we've had some good conversations over chicken and naan.
Dinner. And you're a foodie? I mean, are you keen? You
Totally. I enjoy all cuisines, and a hardcore non-vegetarian. And I still love trying and tasting different things.
sweets? How
Um,
were you with sweets? You love
Not so
sweets?
much.
Okay.
Not really.
Now or you were
Yeah.
always?
I was always like that. I think I
Okay.
was more, yeah. I am a main course person. Soups
Okay.
and main course, yeah. And desserts, I'm not very fond of desserts. So, I mean, I still do make it a point um, till last year to go out with my family and have some good dinners.
And you still do phone reviews? I saw you one of the phones. You had done a review of the phone and things like that some time ago.
We-
I said, you had done a review of a phone, right? I mean, do you still do those phone reviews? Are you a
Oh no,
gadget freak?
that was something fun that I did with Sony. They had come out with a new phone at that time that had a game, um, and they had a gaming console within the phone. And
Okay.
yes, and they had now obviously it's very popular where you have a lot of virtual tennis games and stuff like that. It was a very new concept that Sony had come out with, and I was very excited to review what this new phone had, and I tried playing with it and did a review for them. But yeah, that was a fun experience. I think with tennis we've had a lot of fun experiences. Whether it was giving interviews, I did some commentary in the middle. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and for some of the WTA events, and I feel that I've had some great experiences.
And you're talking about nowadays a lot of gadgets used, right, in coaching. Are you big into it? I mean, what's your view? Do you use it, or you use it selectively, or a lot of gadgets now for coaching and softwares and things like that. So how do you view it?
So no, I mean, I mainly feel that it's you got to be on court with your with the player, and you got to be in tune. I do coach some of the players at City Fort, uh, at the tennis academy, the team tennis academy with Addy sir. He works with the players one on one, and I work with them too. But it's always individually being with them, understanding them. The only softwares that I ever is sometimes to analyze matches and to get scores going. But otherwise, I feel it's always one to one, being with the player, understanding their strategy and game style. In fact, I'm always learning, so I feel that the best learning takes place on court with the player, where both of you understand each other and you grow with each other. You learn some, they learn some, and the learning continues.
Talking about teaching tool and the coach-player relationship, I mean, I'm sure you can talk about, you had a good serve, and I think your dad again contributed to it about how you jumped over a bag or a sack when you were young to work on your leg drive.
Yeah, that was interesting. So he really applied science to everything. So he what he would see on TV was the top players having this huge jump in their serve, and the leg drive. We didn't really know it was called the leg drive then. It's a popular term that the coaches use now, and it's very, very important to have a good serve. Obviously, as you see, the top players have a great leg drive in their serve, and to ensure that and I wasn't very tall, and I was always short when I was playing. So what he made sure was that I have a bag without the balls, and every time I served, he would keep it in front of the baseline, in front of me, and ask me to jump over it, making sure that there was enough distance between me and the baseline and my landing after the serve, just so that I could develop leg drive. And slowly, slowly, he started increasing the height so that I kept going higher and higher. So these were his small attempts to ensure that you know I learned the right way of doing things. He never stepped inside the tennis court. He was always outside, but his science and techniques really helped me, as a
Very
young
useful.
tennis player.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, really
which is
useful.
also very important. I feel that it's not like you should know a lot about tennis, especially with parents, and let the coach do their job. Just like parents are required for parenting, it's the coach that is required for coaching on the tennis court. So
Correct.
they need, like I mentioned before, they need to be in sync. They need to understand what the coach is teaching them, give him the credit and the due respect, and don't turn into coaches.
Yeah.
Learn from them, learn the game with your child, understand it better. You don't have to start playing it, but yes, you can understand the techniques and understand the knowledge behind the practice sessions that are done. Discuss it with your child on your way back home after a practice session, so that it becomes a revision even for the player, where they come and talk to you about what they have done on the tennis court, what they have learned. And I always advise parents that talk to your child about what they have done today, what was the goal when they went in, and what and how far did they succeed in achieving the goal that they had for their practice session. So this way they will be able to develop mentally, they will be able to understand, and each practice will be with a purpose, rather than
Yeah.
just going in, playing, and not having a fruitful day, not having a goal in mind, and coming back without understanding what is it that they did and whether that practice was fruitful or not. So this is where the parents come in. They can just casually discuss with their children, and also it's also a revision for the children where they will revise all, and they will go back to think about all that they did right and all that they did wrong. And I feel that the next practice session that they have the next day or in the evening will be much better planned out and much better thought with the right goals in mind, and will obviously lead to better practice and better performance in practice.
Yeah. Actually, the parents can grow with the child in tennis sense, because they are new to the sport. They can grow with the child, so then the understanding is better. And as Sandeep just mentioned, no Google coaching. They don't read something online and then come and tell. Nowadays all coaches experience that, right? Because they say, "Oh, I read this on internet and I Googled it," and so a lot of that confusion can be sorted out if they can grow with the child.
Only open stance is the only right way to play tennis. Don't get your foot forward to hit the ball. These are some of the very common problems that we also get to hear in our academies, where the parents are criticizing the coach and the coach is criticizing the parents. But they have to understand that it's like a machine that has to run parallel to each other. You can't have one wheel in another way and the other in going in different directions, because the player is your main goal.
Yeah. And you did graduation. You did mass communication and philosophy, right?
Yes.
You use those in your coaching now, because communication, philosophy, both are so useful.
I mainly did mass communication because I had a great interest in journalism, and at one point of time I did think I would probably do some anchoring and yes, some news reading. I was very interested till I realized it was a very tough world and a very tough field to be in. But it did really interest me, and and at that point of time I was doing some expert comments for a show for tennis, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and talking about tennis and analyzing tennis matches. Yes, it was fun. It was a great experience, and that's how mass communication also came about, to understand the subject better. And philosophy, was a tough choice, but I enjoyed doing it. College was a great experience, and I had a great time being in college. They were a very supportive group, and because of them, I could continue playing the circuit at that because of their support.
Okay. I just got distracted because Navdeep has messaged that he was trying to reach me. I have only one number, and I'm very easy to reach. So anyway, now we talk about anchoring. You learned French. You tried anchoring in French too, or?
No. It's a very tough subject, and the verbs are very...
Pronunciation, right? French pronunciation is so complicated.
Yeah, and unfortunately they never taught us. It was all about written, and it was all about writing and reading, and we never really paid a lot of attention to the pronunciation. And my attendance wasn't as great as it should have been also in college, so to spend a lot of time with the teachers. So it is a very tough language to speak. In fact, my mother does speak it very well, even though she didn't study it for the number of years that I did. But she still converses. I can understand what she's saying. But in fact, during this lockdown, I did decide to revise my French, and I am doing a few lessons. Yes, every day. So both pronunciation and written. So hopefully I will. Yeah, it's been a long time since I have studied the language, almost more than 10, 12 years. So I hope that this time that I have got, I will utilize it well to reread and to relearn the language. But it's a wonderful language, and I enjoy. In fact, I went with Yuki to when he was playing one of his French Open. Yes, and I was conversing with the staff there in my in some broken French. But
it's a good way to improve, right? When you speak, you improve better.
That's when I realized that the pronunciation is quite different, and but it's fun to converse, especially when you know the words and you can frame some sentences.
Yeah. Before we end the conversation, I have to ask you a question. This was told someone very close to you. Okay, someone very close to you wanted me to ask this question to you.
Okay.
When your Sana and your dad traveled, apparently you chose to go early. Like, you used to fly and they used to come by train because you used to go there and practice a couple of days, or you wanted to be better prepared. So why did you choose to do that?
I went to the tournament a few days earlier. Yes, because when so I did realize that if I was better acclimatized to the conditions and to the tennis courts and the balls that were being used for the matches, um, the initial rounds will not be as hard as they used to be, because I realized that the first couple of rounds, even though they're not as tough, but you end up playing very close matches because you're not well versed with the with the weather and with the tennis courts, and obviously courts can be very slow, very fast, and the balls can be heavy. So as a young player, I used to ask him to let me go there a few days earlier. And it's very, very important that the players do that now, because I realized when we went from Delhi to Bangalore, the altitude is different.
Yeah.
The height of the ball suddenly changes. You wonder why the balls are not going as flat as they go in Delhi. So,
Yeah.
as a young player, these things can bother you in a match. And it takes...
No,
and
at
if
any
you're
level it can
traveling on...
bother you.
Yeah, and yes, and it takes time for the player to be able to adapt to that situation. And a good night's sleep is also very important.
Yeah.
So you're getting used to a different place. You got to sleep on time. So these were small things I realized made a huge difference in the result in the tournament. So yeah.
The person who asked me, I mean, basically his doubt was whether you went to prepare early or because you didn't want to go by train, so you flew.
Oh, that was another reason. Yeah,
He's sharp enough to pick that up, and you can
Yes.
guess who that will be.
I hated train travel, and I somehow felt that I made me sick, and I couldn't spend so much time in closed enclosed spaces. So it was always easier to travel and be there in a couple of hours. Yeah.
So thank you, Ankita. Thank you for taking time talking to us, and all the very best in your coaching, your Fed Cup, of course, your French, and in everything else you do. Have
Thank
a great
you so much,
time, and
sir.
thank you so
And I
much.
would also like to congratulate you for completing 30 years of tennis coaching. For all of those who are watching, they should know
I'm still
that
young.
yes, and all the very best for this great initiative that you have taken with Rukhan. I feel like a lot of support should come through, and I read about this great opportunity of sponsoring 60 trainees, and I feel like more and more people should take up this initiative, and it will promote tennis. It will supporting tennis will give us a lot of future stars, who will make our country proud. So all the very best, and
Thank you.
And I'm hoping that some good results will also come through this venture.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for those nice words. And I think we'll end with on that positive note. I think we'll end. Thank you. Thank you for your time. I mean, because I think we went past almost 2 hours. We didn't realize, but it was really nice listening to your journey. A lot to people listening in. I'm sure they can learn a lot from you.
Long way to
Thank
go.
you.
Still
Ankita.
learning. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. So I'll close the chat now. Bye-bye. Take
you,
care.
Arthur.
Yeah. And regards to your parents, husband, and the family, of course.
Thank you so much.
Sana and Pratik, Prerna, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.